Okay. Good. Okay, great to see you again. And I'm recording for our CSCI 310, our cybersecurity. So for today, kind of like part of the lab. So we'll be introduced. An idea was the IAM. So it's about the file permission, it's kind of extension, and related to your coming next assignment. And also, by the end of the slides, I have some question, and I will try to set in a format. Is I just want to have like participation and working on it. So I will make it as a kind of like open book quiz, and actually, there are all the questions like I post on the by the end of the slides, and I have all the answers actually. So what you need to do, just at least like you look at the question, think about it, and even the copy and paste, it doesn't really matter. So it's more like the participation, but I would just put it as a format as a quiz. So, okay. And just complete it within a week, like before next week. And slightly update because my I still waiting for my parents for my vehicle, so I still not yet able to pick up my car, and luckily, and I try to update you, like keep checking so the progress, like about my car, like when they able to fix it or when they get their pass, and then I wish I can get it as soon as possible. So I will start the recording right now. For today we talk about the IAM file permission. So you need to know some what the concept related to IAM and how can we manage the file permission in the various system, and how can we troubleshoot some common file permission issues. That's what we're looking for. And as I introduced, when we talk about IAM, it's called identity and access management. So as a short term is IAM, maybe later you will see I'll mention this one. And it refers to the framework of the policy and technologies. We try to ensure right individuals access the right resources and right time for right reasons. So it's the idea. And for the coming lecture, we talk about like CIA, confidentiality, integrity of the authentication. So all this will be also correlated together. And for those related components of the authentication, so how can we verify the user identity, authorization, how can we granting the like permission to the user. So actually that's why we are like working together. So, and in this idea, like you should know like what are those like different user permission, how can we set and manage the permission, and then what the best like practice for files for the security. So it's the idea. When we talk about the file permission in our like previous lab, when we go through like practical changing, okay. So then we will this time we will slightly dive deeper into it. Like when we look at the read write execution. Okay, so we representing the R, W, and X. So for R, we represent it allows the reading the file. Okay, and write very straightforward, so we can modify the file. That means that when you open it, I did it like in example, if I need to using sudo nano, sudo vim. Okay, so if you didn't give a write permission, then we are not allowed to change it. And the execution. Okay, so if there's a file, so it's a script or a binary file, then if we have a permission to like if you see X is allowed, then we can execute. Okay, if it didn't grant the execution permission, then you're not allowed even for those like script or binary file. Okay. And then next I come together will be the permission categories, including owner, group, others, or sometimes we call the global or everyone, depends on the system. Okay. And even they maybe have a different name for the global one, the others, but mainly for the owner and the group, they always the same. Sometimes we say owner group, I always call them together. So they're working always like together. But of course, if you remember in the lab, the practical I'm showing you, we have the chmod, chown, we're changing the owner group. So you can only change the owner or change the group. Okay, also you can change both of them together. Okay, so you have different combination. So for owner, that means the user actually owns the file. Okay, so who create, they owns it. Most of it pretty common by default. So if sometimes you see the question later assignment, as I mentioned, okay, if you create a file, then by default, okay. So sometimes like if I didn't really mention it by default, it's okay. And then we were taking the called the least privilege. Like the idea is like if possible, we just give the least. Like most of the time we give the owner like read, write, execute, and then maybe for a group, maybe someone just read, write, and then they didn't allow to, or only like minimum only read only will be like this. And then the group will be that users in the same group as the file, and for different user, or like they can be the owner of different file, but they can like belongs to different groups. Okay, so like that. And then if they are not clarified, like as the owner or they are not belongs to the group, they will be others or global everyone. Then all others the user, they are what are the permission. Okay. And the next one will be the we talk about the permission including the numeric. So also the symbolic. So numeric permission will be represented as a 3-digit article number. And in the assignment, I will give you a slightly tricky. It's like 4 digits. Okay. So what's but that was the basic component including. So the first digit is representing the owner's permission. And second digit is the group permission. Okay. And then the third digit is the other. That means the global or the everyone. So it's pretty straightforward. So if I give you the 3 digits 777, so the first 7 is owner, second 7 is group, and then last digit is representing others. Okay. Then of course we will see tell you what the actual meanings. So in all the linear system, we use the 7, 7. So how can we get those numbers? So the numeric value is like read is like for reading a file, then we always get that is 4. Okay. And then write is 2 and execute is 1. So you need to familiar and remember okay those numbers representing 4. So if next time I suddenly like I ask you what is the CH mode is like 755. So what's that representing? Okay, so because 7 will be 4 plus 2 plus 1, right? So it's 7. So that means that it has all the first digit represent owner. The owner will then that read, write, execute. So read, write, execute. Okay, so this one is called a symbolic representation. So later you need to able to like write both of them. So it's this one the numeric and then symbolic. Okay, so we write execute, and then for the 5, the next second digit will be the group. So what's the file permission for group? So if you see 5, that means that will be read plus execute. 4 plus 1, 5. Okay, so it's and how can you represent it? It's like because it's read and execute. So we have nothing for write. So we're using a dash or like hyphen. So either so will be like this. You cannot put an underscore. Okay, so it's the standard. So if you look at know the Windows Linux system, you are able to tell they're always using dash or so never use underscore. Okay, and then what's the next? It's same for everyone, others or global. So we are also getting the 5. 5 will be 4 plus 1. Okay, so will be out dash r. Okay, next. So if I given is 6, 6 will be 4 plus 2. Okay, so 4 plus 2 will be read and write. So so you see like when you look at a number, it's pretty straightforward and you're easy to catch it. So if you see the number is 4, that means it represents read only. Okay, read only 4. And then if you see number 2, it's only allow write. Okay, or 1, so it only allow execution. Okay, so can they just like showing like 4, 2, 1 is okay, or you can add them together. So that's why like you will see 1, 4, 2, and then maybe 5. You can see 6, 7. So 7 will be the highest privilege. Okay. Of course, for certain situation, we always give 7, 7. That means like for the owner, we can get the read write execute. For the group, we also get the read write execute, and then others we have a read write execute. But in security aspect, because we need to think, if even other, that means you are not belongs to the one who own the file, create the file, or you are not belongs to certain like group, but you still have the high privilege. That means you can let the attacker or somebody to access the file, modify and execute. So that's the list. But of course, maybe in certain implementation, during the implementation setup, then maybe you need to grant the highest privilege, the 7.7. But after you've complete your setup, then you need to change it. And here's a part that we always have we go going some leaking or like the incorrect access of the file. That means like sometimes because you giving a highest privilege and then you forgot to change it. So also like we in the lab, we mentioned, we try to always put in documents and put in a list and then remember to change it back. Okay. And then we move on because we talk about the like how can we show the symbolic one. So we just like expand it, then we will have more like for the 10 digits. So we can extend the numeric permission to 10 digits format, including special permission. So as okay, for the special permission, I will leave it like later, and you can. I would like cover a little bit. I wish like let you to study a little bit more. So and of course, in the assignment, you will see some question related to special permission. Okay, so then you may ask, if I have a special permission, then how can we affect? So for it will become a 4-digit. So if we don't have a special permission, then we'll put a 0 in the front. You see 0755 like this. Okay, so pretty straightforward. And then if we have special permission, then remember put a special permission in the front. And then for the owner group and others permission, we're using 3 digits to represent. And what are those special permission? So they will be like set UID, set group ID, and sticky bit. Okay, and you don't because when you're learning, because you are not the one that design the system, and I will give you because I will give you some situation. So I'll tell you, okay, you need to set, of course, like in some question I mentioned, then you need to using that set group ID, sometimes maybe set UID to edit. So you just like put it in the front. It's okay. So then what the meanings of those like special permission? So for the set UID, that means that allow a file to run with the permission of its owner. Okay, so that means if I use the special permission like 4, then it's like this file is only allowed to run only for the owner. So it's not allowed run by the group or like not allowed run by the others like Kobo. If you set the group ID, that means like it's only for the groups only. You can run it, and with the if you add a sticky bit, then it just ensure the file state can delete. Only the owner can delete file. Okay, so no others can delete. So if you are not the owner, then you are not allowed. So he's called a sticky bit. So and it's a special permission. And when we try to add a special permission, then the letter like it represent the symbol, it will be slightly changed. So if you see like RWS right here, the S, if you remember, we in the read write execute right here will be read write execute RWXY. So it's the most common. So if you see there's a S, but instead of X, that means we have the special permission, and it comes with like S right here. So maybe we have the like set UID, circle ID, or sticky bit, but add is a sticky bit on the last one. So T is the sticky bit, like for for both right here representing, and then we have the S UID. Okay, and the owner permission, it will be kind of like, okay, same right here, and group permission our X, and then we for the by default we have read write, and then we will give it a sticky bit, so we change to T. And when we try adding the UID, like because we adding the 4,000 will be UID. If a group ID would be like 2 in the in as a first letter, and then sticky bit will be showing 1 in the front. Okay, so of course you can add them together. Like if you are only if you're setting a special like UID and then sticky bit, it will change to 5. Okay, like this. Okay. If you look at the slides, then maybe you will know, okay, we will execute, but better is that practice. Like if you give you some situation, how to say, because in the real situation, like most of like working environment, when we work on the file permission, we always like give you the instruction. So like everything documented, you need to give a permission. So you don't have to like come like work on the scratch. Okay, of course, if you are the manager or somehow design it, of course you need to think about those like file permission, or do need to set a special permission. Okay, and here is slightly just more explanation for those like that we were execute. So we didn't give the we give a set UID, we didn't give the set UID, we have a sticky bit with like this, and then when we reading it, it still will be the same. So we have a read by execute, so 75, and with execute 75. But when we giving a let's say group ID, then will be 4 like this. And just as some examples. So of course, like for more details, then we will give you some exercise. So you will look at it, working on it. Okay. And when we need to check the file permission, we can use the ls-l-L to display the permission in both a numeric and symbolic format. And if you need to change the permission, we can use the chmod, and then giving those you can use the 4 digits, 2 digits, or even use the symbolic and format, and then you give a file. Okay, you can give a file names or give with the directory. Okay, or you can using cd change it and then change it. Okay, that's like what we did in our previous lab. So let you try. Okay, maybe in the beginning you have no idea what you're doing, or if you're familiar with the Linux system, then you're all good. So if in the beginning you have no idea, then why not? You did something, and then how can you binding with what you learned today? Okay, so right here we talk about, then will be probably data IBM. And more we came about symbolic permission, because I already like covered when we talk about the digit permission, like then this one a numeric one, so like what the digit, and this one. Then for the symbolic permission, we're using the U to represent user or the owner. Okay, G is the group and O for other. Okay, sometimes A is for all. Why we have something comes out with all, then you will know later. And then for the basic permission will be still the same. We wait execute RWX. Okay, and we actually for this like symbolic operation, we can add some special like we call it operators. So those operators can be at sign, minus sign, and set exactly equal sign. Okay, then how we going to be work? Okay, so if I giving using changing the symbolic permission like chmod and u, and then press R, and then files, what does it mean? Then I'm going to add a read permission for the owner. Okay, so because u is representing the owner, okay, but add is a precise, so adding it, and what's R is read, right? Okay, so then how can you interpret this one? So G minus W. Okay, so for the file, so we try to remove the write permission for the good. Okay, so and if we execute like chmod and O equals to X, okay. So what's this mean? So this one, okay, because O is the other. Sometimes I call global or others or everyone. Okay, this one say okay, and then equals. So we set it for only X is execute. Okay, that means one. Okay, so we only set the execute permission only for others. Okay, then you may ask a question. Okay, can I combine all this together, like change different format? Yes, you can. Okay, so when I put them all together, and looks like maybe I can change, like for user, these are my what X is execution. And then for group, I can remove the white. Okay, and you see maybe for all others, I can giving only permission read only. Okay, so what's the digit? The numeric representation. Then you may ask, okay, by default, because right here I didn't tell you what's the default or right now in current state. Okay, what is the permission? Okay, so maybe I'm sure maybe when the root account create, it only comes read only. Okay, so maybe it's 400 this file. Okay, so 400, if I add execution, so will be 5. Okay, and maybe minor if I don't have provide. Okay, so that means that okay, then I change it to have a write permission, then maybe change to 0. And originally the others, the global would be no, without any permission, then giving a read, so would be 1 like this. Of course, because I didn't give you what's this file like before actually. Okay, owns any permission, so because this one just gives you some example. Okay, so it's an example how it looks like. And just like telling different format, for the Linux system or Unix, we for the file permission, so we use the owner, group, and others to represent it. Okay, and the format, we have the notation, we read by execute, and then we can break down. So just recap of it, and then what kind of permission commands we can use. So we can use the chmod, chown, chgrub, all these. Okay, but you will see most a lot, and we use in our lab like previous. So chmod and chown. Okay, so just like help you to think about what do you do like in the previous lab. Okay, how do you use those commands to change the permission? Okay, and how can we edit it? And for the Windows system, because we cannot only focus on like Linux or Unix, like let's say I'm using follow the Linux permission. But if you're the Windows like system, because for cybersecurity we cover like try to cover all different type of system. Okay, and we have the called the read, write, execute, and full control. Okay, and also it has called the access control list (ACLs), and it will give us some like detailed permission for users and groups, so you can see. And pretty similar. If I have files right here and I get info, so you can see like the permissions. So who and using sometimes for Mac we have a code on staff. Okay, let me go, and then everyone. So you see, and then I have a read write permission, and I have a read for staff, and then read only. So here's usually the list. And for Windows, we can using the File Explorer or something like the ICALS command to check those permission and change it. Okay, edit the permission. And we have the we talk about the IAM. Okay, so IAM policy, we just is always define the permission for the resources, and maybe even some online like EC2 AWS, we have got IAM policy, so they will be the JSON based permission, and Azure role based access control. Because Azure is Microsoft, so we say they will assign the role to the user. So in different systems, so we have different names. You can tell, okay, so IAM or the role-based access control using a lot. And in case, okay, so we'll be cover the last part. We talk about the like common issues and troubleshooting. And if you have some incorrect permission, prevent the file access, try to check and adjust the permission. So you can HTML or ACL too, like Windows. Or if you have some unauthorized access, display the permission set, and you need to verify the ACL setting or like inheritance rules. Maybe in the assignment question like later, I will make it public next week, so you have some time to work on it. And maybe like tricky thing you need to think about, you need to search our case study. If I need to like inheritance, like let's say I create as a folder, I want to inherit it, then how can I do that? Okay, given a correct permission. Okay, so then do I require special feed? Then here's like hints. Okay. So far I quickly cover all this is about the IAM concept, like just help you to recap and then link with like what we did like in our lab or showing the Ubuntu system. How can we change it? Okay, those like file permission, this commands. And sometimes like for our later we talk about the CIA, and it looks pretty simple, straightforward, but it's really like as a first step, like we can protect our security. Okay, so we do have some numeric and symbolic permission, so help us to manage the file access control. And this will affect lots of including the policy, IAM policy, or the role-based access control. Okay, so we need to understand and how can we use it. So it's crucial for system security. So what we like this. Okay, and since I give you some examples and later in the exercise, okay, so I give you like how can change. Trying not look into the question if I based on understanding, if I give it. So I will post this question like to the quiz. So actually I give you an answer like in below. Okay, so actually I already give you an answer. So but this part is that I want to let you like think about it. Okay, kind of like warm up exercise before you doing the assignment, or like better to capture the idea. Okay, so I will post all these questions, like just like exactly the same question, like post it on the quiz, and then I won't like set the time limit, or yeah, so we try to finish it. Okay, and just more like in class exercise. Okay, and I see there a few students joining right here, so I will stop the screen sharing and then post it, so you can check your time like in this moment to complete it. Okay, and but I need to sometimes to post it. Okay, and after grade, so just you need to complete anytime like before next week Tuesday. Okay, so this is what you need to do, and I will stop the screen sharing and try to work on the question. Okay, so you may look at it first, and after it's available, so hopefully after 5 or 10 minutes later, then you can do it if you want to stay. Okay, so far build this one for today's lab is more likely like go through all those like details about permission and then some exercise. Okay, and that's it for today's class, and I will stop the screen sharing because I need to like share the questions. Okay, so try not to look at it like as the first step. If you really have no idea, then I also try to give you some explanation, telling like what's the meaning. Okay, so just like need to do it. Okay, so I don't really care about actually like how much correct, because I already give you the answer solution, and just try to do it. So help you to think about it. Okay, and I will stop the sharing and post the question like within about 5 to 10 minutes, so you can do it. Do you have any question? Like attending, if no, then I will stop the sharing right now. And now we stop the, let me see. Okay, that's good. If you know, then I'll make the question available around 5 to 10 minutes later, so you can complete it. Okay, so I will stop it right here.